Welcome back. It's another Creaky Bloody Gamers battle report. Let's get on with it.
Okay, g'day viewers. Welcome to another quick battle report. Just came back from a 1750 tournament. We had 16 players, run by the 2 Plus podcast just after Christmas as a warm-up for our upcoming Old Hammer Summer Slam tournament, which is going to be 1750 points. And I'll just flash up the list here. I was going to do a tier list before the tournament, but Christmas shenanigans got in the way, so you can pause it here anywhere if you like and have a look at the different lists. Quite varied. We did have a couple of Green Knights coming, so a bit of a skew. Hard to stop those sort of things at 1750 points, but we'll see how we go. So Chaos Warriors, couple of Chaos Dwarves and some Wood Elves. Wood Elves managed to squeeze a dragon in, and some Lizardmen, which I'm facing first. And here's my list, led by a Demon Prince. So I just painted this new Demon Prince, so I thought I'd give him another go, even though he's bombed out a couple of games. So he's got the Demonic Plate Mail, Mark of Nurgle, Biting Blade, and we're only allowed to have a level 3, so he's a level 3. Then I wanted an Exalted Champion with the Ogre Blade, and he's going to run around with a unit of 7 Huskarls. Mark of Khorne on him and the Huskarls. A couple of units Marauder Horsemen with Flails, Mark of Khorne. Unit of Chaos Warhounds. Unit of 16 Berserkers and 2 units of 5 Berserkers. They could ambush. A Giant Spawn. And that's about it, I think. Yeah, 1750 points. And a unit of 4 Skin Wolves with a champion. I'm not that good at using the Skin Wolves. By the end of the tournament, I might learn how to use the Skin Wolves properly. I'm never sure what buff to give them when they get into combat. But I think the toughness one seems to be the go, which I learned in round 3 when I actually face another Wolves of the Sea Army. Anyway, so we'll give it a go. And first round, we're up against the Lizardmen. So we'll see how we go. All right, let's have a look at round 1. Okay, so we've got an Ancient Stegodon there with the Engine of the Gods and some Saurus Warriors in marching column, some Skinks with Javelins, another Skink level 2 Priest with a Stegodon, Engine of the Gods, Battle Standard Bearer there with a Ruby Ring, Scar Veteran I think it is on a Carnosaur, some more Skinks, Bastillodon, and some Temple Guard. So doesn't look like much, but there's a few, like maybe 3 toughness 6 monsters and a toughness 5 monster, and maybe 3 bound spells, 3 or 4 bound spells coming at you as well. So there's a lot of magic missiles. They're all bound items, and some of them are bound level 3. So it's difficult to stop because we're not allowed to have a level 4 at this 1750 point tournament. So the bounce items are pretty good at lower points levels if you're only going to be facing level 3 Shaman, etc. So let's see how we go. Have a look at the Wolves of the Sea. Right, so I deployed my Giant Spawn way out on the right flank, as far away from this Carnosaur as I could. Got some Berserkers in the woods, and there's my Huskarls with the Exalted Champion ready with his Ogre Blade, the Demon Prince in the middle. Maybe I can try and stop some of those bound spells with some more Berserkers, big unit of Berserkers, and then I've got some Marauder Horsemen on the flank there, hiding behind the building. But he does deploy those scouts just within charge range from behind the building there. They can just see them. So those Khorne Marauder Horsemen get themselves in trouble sometimes.
Let's go. Turn 1.
All right, turn 2. So as expected, those Marauder Horsemen could just spy those Skinks around the corner. So they had to charge because they're frenzied. It's a long charge, and they decided to stand and shoot. And I lose a couple of horsemen on the way in, but they did make it. I think I had to use a Warband reroll and Swift Stride. They get stuck into them, and they're going to win the combat and just push them off the table, and then I have to pursue off the table there. Then I've just shuffled forward in the middle because I want to get my Demon Prince up in range to try and dispel some of the magic missiles coming in. And the scenario is if you've got a standard on the hill or something, you get an extra few battle points. So I've only got one standard in the Huskarls and one in the Berserkers, the big unit of Berserkers. And I did also forget my Huskarls. I gave them the Banner of Darkness or whatever, so they're -1 to hit with shooting, which I forgot. Because I've been playing different lists and I had the War Banner on them, but I gave them the Banner of Darkness, which I didn't remember till game 3, basically. Anyway, the Lizardmen move up, fire javelins, etc., poison and magic missiles and so on. So I lose a bunch of these Berserkers. And I finish up losing 4 of my mounted Huskarls as well. So luckily we're all frenzied because we're not going to have to take any panic tests. But I just couldn't dispel any of the magic missiles. He had a good magic phase and a good shooting phase. And we're not wearing much armour, so we took a few casualties there. And that's the situation. My spawn out on the right flank only rolled a few inches, so he didn't move up very far. So will be some charges happening here onto those skinks because we're all frenzied. And over here as well. And those guys will come back on next turn. So that was turn 1. We lost a few troops.
Turn 2.
Okay, so turn 2. We're going to have to do something. And we charged those skinks. So we had to take the bait because we're all frenzied. We cleaned up the skinks and overran. And so that's the situation. We've still got 3 Huskarls and the Exalted there. Over here, I charged some more skinks. He shot and killed a couple of my dogs, and the skinks got away from us. So they've just fallen back. Well, maybe they fled. I think they fled. Yeah, they got away, and we failed to catch them. So after my turn 2, that's the situation. The wolves and the demon prince are just hiding behind the hill, keeping my demon prince back just for dispelling, trying and dispel all those bound magic missiles coming at me, which have really done a lot of damage on turn 1. The Marauder Horsemen came back on there. I should have probably gone a little bit closer because I don't want to charge the Stegodon, because they'll, even with flails and frenzy, etc., they're going to have a hard time against the Stegodon. So I probably should have given myself another option, maybe to charge into the Saurus up the back if I'd moved the other direction. That's 2020 hindsight now. He's even cast another spell on me, which I couldn't dispel, made one of my units stupid. And then in his turn, he's not going to take any of my charges here. He's just going to sit back and try and magic missile me again, because he did so well on turn 1, lost half my Huskarls, etc. And so he's just manoeuvring, trying to block my skirmishing charges. I keep reminding him that I've got frenzy and 360-degree charge arcs with a lot of those berserkers and the Marauder Horse, etc. So he's just blocking that charge on his BSB. And he's going to try and do the same thing, try and whittle me down with magic missiles. But luckily for me, this round I did manage to dispel a few, and he failed to get a few off, so I didn't take as much damage. But I think if he did the same, just did as well as he did on turn 1, I would have lost probably the rest of my Huskarls, etc. And these Saurus are moving slowly up behind there, and that's probably the end of my turn too. And he didn't take any charge there. He's just going to try and zap me off the table. So the Saurus on the Carnosaur has sort of stayed back as well. He doesn't really get charged, and I don't want him charging my spawn. Luckily, my spawn's just ambling along. I probably could have used him to move up a bit quicker. Usually he does, but this game he let me down on that right flank. He was too slow to get in.
Turn 3.
Right, so we're turn 3. So we're going to charge here. The skinks on the top of the Bastillodon do a stand and shoot and kill 2 more Huskarls, which actually helps me because it allows me to get Kivanovich, the Exalted Champion, to get into the Bastillodon and swing his Ogre Blade. So do a couple of combi charges there. The dogs charge those skinks again, and I lose a couple of dogs, and these guys try and charge the Saurus and fail their charge because I just want to get them out of the way. These berserkers go into that stegodon, which is a big mistake because the stegodon just eats them. So that was a bit of a boo-boo. Then I did cast Steed of Shadows on my skin wolves. There they are. So they flew across the table with Steed of Shadows. And in here, I thought I was pretty clever here because I'm going to get the Ogre Blade into the Bastillodon and finish it off. And they're going to overrun and fight again into the Temple Guard. But the Temple Guard are stubborn, but we make a mess of them. And there's the spawn moving up slowly. The Demon Prince has jumped up on the hill in the middle of the table, thinking he's souped up now. He's got a few favours of the gods up. And unfortunately, these marauders thought they could take on the Stegodon. They did 2 wounds, so I was pretty happy with that. But the Stegodon just turns around and starts munching on them. So after that combat, the Stegodon kills 2. I've got the champion left. I thought I'm doing well here. He might survive. I've got a flank and 2 wounds, but then he's got stomps. So he kills the champion as well. So that was the end of the Marauder Horseman. Over there, so the Temple Guard went stubborn and we couldn't get through them. So his Saurus on the Carnosaur doesn't want to charge Kivanovich with his Ogre Blade. So he goes into some little pesky berserkers. And his battle stand is floating around. I've done a couple of wounds to him. Maybe I did a magic missile. Yeah, I dropped a magic missile, fired my own magic missile, the summoning at the BSB, but left him with 1 wound left. That was a bit of a bummer. Could have got rid of him. And so now his Stegodon in the middle's carrying around a banner because the Berserkers charged it. And I think they might have done 2 wounds, but then the Stegodon just ate them and broke them, etc. So that Stegodon's reformed to face that way. So I think at this point, I thought I was doing okay. I've got the Skin Wolves in a good position to maybe get the Saurus at the back or whoever they want. Depends if I use them properly. Spoiler alert, I do forget to use Primal Fury. Not until game 3 I remember I've got Primal Fury. So he's just putting the BSB around just to help out. His Carnosaurs charge my little Berserkers, which he'll now break them, and they'll run through the BSB is going to be behind them. So the Carnosaur is getting ever closer to my spawn. My spawn is just ambling up slowly. He doesn't know he's moving into danger because the Carnosaur is getting closer. If you don't know, the Carnosaur does D3 wounds to monsters. So that was probably a bit of a bad move. But at the moment, I thought I was doing okay. The Demon Prince is up there. He's souped up. I've got about 3 buffs on him from Gaze of the Gods. My Exalted Champion has got a couple of buffs on him from Gaze of the Gods. And we've got the Skin Wolves in a good position. And I'm beating up the Temple Guard. So I thought I was doing okay.
Turn 4.
All right, we're into turn 4. And this is where things start to go wrong. Part of it is my fault for not remembering some of my rules, but some of it's just bad luck as well. I had got myself, I thought I was in a pretty good position. The Marauder Horse pursued and caught up to the Temple Guard, captured their standard. My Exalted, he's laying down there because he's just off the table. He's going to come back on the table. So the Marauder Horse that are there are going to have to charge the flank of the Carnosaur. Okay, so I'm thinking, if I could just get the Carnosaur to maybe pursue me off in that direction, or maybe I can even win the combat. I'm wishful thinking here, but I'm going to get all the Marauder Horsemen into the flank of the Carnosaur. So I'm thinking that should work okay. And then the Skin Wolves are going to go into the Saurus. So everyone tells me Saurus are pretty crap, so I should be able to beat up the Saurus. My little dog's fighting the Skinks. And then the big one is I decide to send the Demon Prince, because he's all souped up, I decide to send the Demon Prince into the rear of that Stegodon. So we'll see what happens. So the Marauder Horse did a couple of wounds to the Carnosaur, and then the Carnosaur killed them all. So he overran forward. He's frenzied now as well because he's killed someone or something. And now he can see the flank of my spawn if he charges with the skink as well. And so the Demon Prince, I had all the buffs on him. He's got Apotheosis and Murderous Mutation and whatever the number 4, a couple of extra attacks. So I think by now he's strength 7 and he's got 7 attacks or something. So he goes into the rear of the skink on the Stegodon. That dog's fighting there. Then eventually those skinks will get the better of the dog. The Carnosaur's going to go into my spawn. And the Skin Wolves, the best mutation I've discovered is to go for toughness. And don't forget Primal Fury. That might have helped out. So the Saurus are actually beating up the Skin Wolves there. And here's the disaster. I did a couple of wounds to the Stegodon, and the Skinks on the back did a couple of wounds, and the Stegodon Stomp did another wound. I failed 3 out of 3 4 up ward saves because of his demonic, Chaos Armor. And then I forgot that he had regen as well. So that's my fault. He could have had another couple of 5-up saves. The Spawn didn't pass any of his regen saves, etc. So the Spawn's still alive with 1 wound. And then the other Stegodon comes in, finishes off the Demon Prince. So the Demon Prince died. And both the Stegodons are still alive. So that was a disaster. I got a little bit cocky there, but I did have the Demon Prince totally souped up. And he just couldn't finish off that Stegodon. But I also did forget his demonic save. So we failed 4 out of 4 4-up ward saves. So we probably deserved to die.
Turn 5.
Okay, well, turn 5 and everything's gone to the dogs here. Skin Wolves are surrounded by a couple of Stegodons. And they're fighting the Saurus. They've done okay, considering that I've stuffed them up by not using Primal Fury. We'll assume that they failed all their Primal Fury rolls. The Spawn's only got 1 wound left, so it's up to Kivanovic, the bloody mad, to come and rescue him with a long bomb charge into the rear of the Carnosaur. So he's going to go in there. But with the death of the Demon Prince, things were pretty much over. Yeah, so there's only 3 Skin Wolves there, and they're going to get stomped to death by the Stegodons into their flank, etc. And I did okay here. Kivanovic with the Ogre Blade issued a challenge to the Carnosaur, and he did quite a few wounds and beat him up, and the Carnosaur fell back in good order in that direction away from him. Away from the greatest unit strength, the Spawn. But then in the next turn, in the turn 5, he was slain by the Carnosaur. I just whiffed all my attacks, and he passed his saves, etc. And the Carnosaur survives with 2 wounds left. And now my exalted champion, Kivanovic the Bloody Mad, is dead. The Skin Wolves are dead. So all I've got is the Spawn left alive with 1 wound and 1 tiny little unit of Berserkers. So it turned out to be a bit of a disaster. Once the Demon Prince went down, I lost my magic defense as well, and he failed to kill that Stegodon, so things sort of just crumbled after that. So I thought I was doing okay. Turn 1, I took a heap of damage from magic missiles. Turn 2, I got stuck in. Turn 3 and 4, and about turn 4 it all went downhill when the Demon Prince died. He got wounded by a couple of skinks, killed him with a couple of wounds. So a couple of lessons learned. I forgot to use Primal Fury. I forgot the 5-up ward save, demonic ward save for the Demon Prince, and I forgot that the Exalted demonic mount gives him 4 wounds, not 3. So things I've learnt, 2020 hindsight looking back. So anyway, it was a massive loss, and the Saurus, there was only 3 left or something, got up on the hill and got extra battle points. So it was a bit of a disaster, a good old-fashioned Creaky Gamers disaster. Anyway, we'll go on to round 2. So thanks for watching. I do all these things so you don't have to do them. So remember your rules. Maybe don't change your army so often as I do. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Well, that was different.
Yep, lousy, but different.